Hello everyone, Board Game Lawyer here. It has been a long week, but it's finally Friday evening and I'm going to play some Marvel Champions. And so if you've been following my channel this week, we've called this Venom Week instead of Shark Week. And so we've been taking various heroes up against Venom this week. And tonight I decided to use a hero that I have very few reps with in the game. Not that I don't like him necessarily, I just don't get him to the table as often as I do others. So I'm going to be playing with Groot today. So let's take a look at Groot. So Groot has 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 defense. He is a Flora Colossus. He has a forced interrupt when Groot would take any amount of damage, remove that many growth counters from him. For each growth counter removed this way, prevent 1 of that damage. He has a hand size on his hero side of 5 and 10 hit points to begin the game. Let's take a look at his alter ego form. He is also Groot in his alter ego form. He has 4 recovery. He has a growth spurt. So as an action, I can place 2 growth counters on Groot to a maximum of 10, and I can do that for a limit of once per round. I can use that growth spurt. Something else that I have included in my deck today that I have never played with before, and this is in the encounter deck, is a brand new, right out of Ironheart hero kit. It is a modular set that came as part of the extra cards from Ironheart. So if you haven't picked up that pack yet and you don't like spoilers, it's all right if you back out until you actually get a hold of it. But yeah, I'm going to be playing with that this evening, and I thought I'd look at the cards since I haven't really played with them before and see how they work. So here the feedback loop in Zzzax says that when revealed, each player must place threat here equal to the number of energy resources in their hand and on cards that they control. And here's our named minion in the set. It's Zzzax. He has a scheme of 2, an attack of 2. He's a criminal. He has 4 health, and Zzzax says he gets plus X attack and plus X hit points, where X is equal to the total number of energy resources on cards the engaged player controls. So he gets plus hit points. So that can exceed 4. Interesting. And then he has that special boost. It says if you have at least 2 energy resources in your hand, put Zzzax into play, engage with you. So powerful minion in this encounter set. Let's take a look at some of his cards. It says attached to your identity, treat the printed resources of each card in your hand as if it were energy resources. Hero action, choose to either discard a card you control with a printed energy resource or take 2 indirect damage and discard this card. Okay, so obviously Groot does not like lightning, energy, or anything of the like, so he may run into a problem here. We have 2 of those haywire cards in our deck. Then we have Zap. When revealed, take indirect damage equal to the total number of energy resources in your hand. If your identity was dealt 1 or fewer damage this way, this card gains Surge. And then we also have Air Static, which is an environment condition. Force interrupt. When the villain phase begins, deal 2 indirect damage to each player with a energy resource in their hand and or on a card they control. Hero action. Choose to either discard a card you control with a printed energy resource or take 2 indirect damage and discard this card. So you can discard the environment, you just have to, it's almost like an obligation. You have to do some, you got to take some damage or kill your hand. Discard a card you control, so it's not out of your hand. Discard a card you control with a printed energy resource or take 2 indirect damage to discard this card. So Air Static, another dangerous card that we're going to be including in our Venom deck today. So let's go ahead and shuffle all these in, and we'll shuffle up our encounter deck, and then we'll take a look at Venom setup. All right. Now we'll shuffle that deck. I'll also shuffle my Groot deck. Now I've done something a little bit different with Groot. I'm going to be playing with Groot today in Protection. So Protection is probably the aspect that I have the least amount of reps with of all the different aspects. So I'm not as familiar as I would be, say, with leadership or justice. Even aggression, I probably play that more than defense. So, you know, I don't play much with Groot. I've never played with this modular set. And so it may be a long game. I'm kind of counting on this game, the strategy of this game, to be like doing a lot of paper cuts on the Venom. So not necessarily attacking Venom, but trying to deal various forms of damage to Venom using a lot of upgrades in the protection kit. So something else unusual, I decided to make a 45 card deck instead of a 40 card deck. I typically always stick with a 40 card deck, but I decided to go 45 today. We'll see how that works out. Let's get Venom set up. So he comes into play with a tough card. We read this a few times this week. He has that forced response, so whenever you attack and damage Venom, then you deal yourself a face down boost card on your identity. So that's Venom 1. We're going to be playing Venom 1 and 2. We're just going to be playing standard today. I'm not going to go crazy. It's Friday night. It's been a long week. Let's have some fun. And there's a live stream that I'm interested in taking a look at here shortly as well. So hopefully I can get a game in before that live stream starts. So we've got Leave Us Alone. Instead of Down to Earth modular set, we put that Zzzax modular set in there. Put the bell tower environment into play, quiet side up. This one threats out at 10. It starts with 2. And it has that forced interrupt that says whenever Venom initiates or activates against you, move each face down boost card from your identity to Venom. The bell tower is going to start quiet. Remember, it flips when there's at least 3 chime counters on it, and it flips to the ringing side. And we'll take a look at the benefits of the ringing side if we ever decide to flip that over. So Groot's ready. I've shuffled my player deck. I shuffled my encounter deck. All I need is 6 cards to start. So we've got Energy. Wow, that's dangerous. Multiple Man. Another big energy or genius card with 2 resources. I am Groot. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. We've got Energy Barrier. I like Energy Barrier. Root Stomp. Deal 5 damage to an enemy. If this attack defeats that enemy, place 1 growth counter on Groot to a maximum of 10. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't think we're going to use I am Groot. I may try to make this just a turn where I build up my hand and then the Root Stomp. I'm also going to discard that and draw a couple cards here. So we've got Energy, Genius. That'll put out Multiple Man. And then I can draw 2 more cards, hopefully get the Energy Barrier on the table. We are Groot. Remove up to 4. That's an event. And we also have Armored Vest. Ooh. I would like to put the Armored Vest onto Groot. Which one? I do have 3 Energy Barriers in my deck, so I could probably afford to lose that one. But we also have Multiple Man that we can put out. After Multiple Man enters play, search your deck and hand for a copy of Multiple Man. Put it into play, shuffle your deck. If it was searched this way, and there's 2 other Multiple Men in my deck. So I'll use these resources here, the Energy and the Genius, to go find, put Multiple Man on the table, and go find me a couple more. So this one allows this one to be placed on the table, and this one allows for, let's see, got another one in here hopefully. Yep, there it is. 3 Multiple Man on the table. Move the light so you can maybe see it where it doesn't reflect the light nearly as badly. So Multiple Man. They all have an attack and a thwart of 1 and only 2 health. More of a setup to put Multiple Man out. Shuffling my hero deck, that's the sound you hear. Alright, shuffled up very well. We'll also put that Armored Vest on the table, spending these 2 resources, Energy Barrier and We Are Groot. So he gets +1 defense. He already has 3, so that'll put Groot up to 4 defense. And then I can place those 2 growth counters on Groot. I'll do that. And I'll just call it a turn at that. Unless I do the Multiple Man attack. I'll do 1 Multiple Man attack onto Venom to knock off that tough card. Tough card's gone. We'll deal 1 damage to that 1 Multiple Man and we'll ready him too. So everything's readied. And we'll drop our hand size again of 6. So we've got the Power of Protection. We have the Root Stomp. Clea. We also draw Lockjaw. And we've got another Energy Barrier. One more card. Another Power of Protection. Look at that. Nice. I like it. Okay, that's a good hand going into my next turn. Some more setup. So we're going to place one threat on the belt, on the Leave Us Alone card. Venom's going to scheme. So he's going to scheme for 1. Plus 2 is 3. That brings our threat up to 6 on Leave Us Alone. And then we draw a card. And we're going to draw Assault. When revealed Alter Ego, this card gains Surge. Then we draw another card because we surged. And it says attached to your identity. When your hero would attack, discard Webbed Up instead. Then you are stunned. Webbed Up, similar to the Spider-Man card. So when Groot attacks, when you would attack, discard Webbed Up and then stun myself. So that's the end of Venom's turn. We'll move on into our Groot turn. So we'll begin by placing those 2 growth counters onto Groot here. All right. And can we use another turn? Just build up cards. Let's see what we got. I do want to put the Energy Barrier out. I do believe. Yeah, let me put the Energy Barrier out. It's going to cost me a Power Protection to put the Energy Barrier onto the table. It comes into play with 3 reflection counters on it. And the way that Energy Barrier works, it says it's an interrupt. When you would take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter from here, prevent 1 of that damage, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. So 3 counters come out on the Energy Barrier. With that multiple man, let's do this. Let's remove 1 threat from Leave Us Alone. That will discard this multiple man. With this multiple man, we'll remove 1 threat off of Leave Us Alone. And we'll put a damage onto him. This multiple man, we'll take off another threat. We'll place a damage onto him. And using Root Stomp and Lockjaw, we'll put Clea on the table. She'll come out into play. So now we have 3 allies on the table, and she too, her text on her says when she's defeated, shuffle her into her owner's deck. So with her thwart, we'll remove 1 more threat from Leave Us Alone. We'll remain in our alter ego form, and I will draw up to a total of 6 cards. So now we have another Root Stomp. We've got Strength. We've got Starhawk. I love Starhawk. Fruition. And we've got Entangling Vines. When Groot makes a basic thwart, remove 1 growth counter from him and exhaust Entangling Vines. Groot gets +2 thwart for that thwart. All right, then. So there's our 6 cards. 3, 4, 5. Nice. I like it a lot. We're going to ready up everybody. Ready up Clea. And she took a damage. So we have our 6 cards. We did place our 2 growth counters on Groot. Now we will place 1 threat. Basically put Leave Us Alone back where it was. So we place 1 threat. We're going to scheme with Venom. So that scheme put Enraged Symbiote into play, engaged with you. So Venom's going to scheme for 1. Plus Enraged Symbiote's going to scheme for 1. So that'll put us up to a total of 5 onto Leave Us Alone. Just bouncing thread around here. And we draw an encounter card, which is an advance. The villain schemes. Not a good time for that. We draw. Resolve this card's when revealed ability. So we're going to place 1 scheme onto there. And we are going to remove 2 chime counters from the bell tower. If the bell tower is on its quiet side, take 1 damage. If it's on its ringing side, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. Remove 2 chime counters from the bell tower. Not happening. If the bell tower is quiet, which it is, take 1 damage. So we're going to take a damage. Energy barrier says when you would take any amount of damage, remove 1 reflection counter from here, prevent 1 of that damage, and deal 1 damage to an enemy. All right, so we will use the energy barrier to reflect that 1 damage that Groot was going to get, and we'll reflect it right back at the enraged symbiote. So it plays 1 damage onto him. Energy barrier. Thank you. All right. My turn. Groot gets those 2 counters placed on him. Now he's up to 6. We have the power of protection. We can put out Starhawk, but before we do that, we're going to probably want to use the multiple men and Clea. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do we'll take damage onto multiple man to remove 1 threat. Same thing with this multiple man to remove another threat. Now we're down to that. Starhawk does 2 or 1 thwart. Yep. Multiple man's gone. And Clea, we will have her attack the enraged symbiote. You know what? She needed to do that first because he has patrol on him, so those 2 guys had to wait their turn. So Clea was going to do that damage first, or we could have done it with the multiple men as well, but that enraged symbiote's gone. Sorry, it had patrol while it's there. I couldn't remove threat from the main scheme, so enraged symbiote's gone. Clea says when she's defeated, shuffle her into her owner's deck, so we'll put her back in the deck. Hopefully to see her again later. Shuffling her in. All right, good. And I think we will use Fruition, Superpower Action, place 2 growth counters on Groot to a maximum of 10. Yes, sir. We'll do that. So 2 more growth counters onto him. I'll clean those up here in a minute to see how many we actually got. I think we're still don't have 10 yet. And we've got the power of protection. We could use that to put out Starhawk with Thump onto the table. Really like Starhawk. One of my favorites. Power of protection to put him out. I think we'll just have him thwart, so he'll remove a threat from Leave Us Alone. Does a damage to Starhawk. And Entangling Vines. When Groot makes a basic thwart, remove 1 growth counter from him and exhaust Entangling Vines. Groot gets +2 thwart for that thwart. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll spend the Root Stomp to put out Entangling Vines. So he has another upgrade on the table. We'll hang on to that strength because we don't need to use it right now. So Starhawk's going to ready. And sorry if this seems boring, but we're going to try to get Groot maxed out on his growth counters before we flip him. So we've got strength. We also draw deft focus. Nice. That's good. And we have Clea again. She's back for round 2. Flow Like Water, which is an upgrade. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. After you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. That's what we want on the table. There's that sidestep. And here's Fruition. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cards. Placing 1 threat onto Leave Us Alone. He's going to scheme for 1 and 1 is 2. So we'll make that 6. We'll draw our encounter card for Venom, which is an advance, the villain schemes. Well, we got both these out of the way. Hopefully we won't do 4. Let's see what happens. We're close. We got 3. So 3 more. Puts us up to 9. Now we're dangerously close to threading out. It will happen on our next turn, so we're gonna have to do something this time. This time around we are going to have to do something. Let's figure out what that something is going to be. So, I have strength, I have deft focus, I have Clea, flow like water, sidestep, fruition. I think we will flip over, or we're going to go ahead and put our 2 counters onto Groot. That should put us all the way up to 10. And that's very messy. You can't even read Groot anymore. So let me make sure I got 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm going to clean that up a little. 3 3s and a 1. We'll just line those up right alongside Groot here. 3 3 and 1. Now it's time. We're going to flip. Groot. Time to do some Grooting. Fruition. We'll hang on to that for a minute because first, when Groot makes a basic thwart, remove 1 counter from him and exhaust entangling vines. Groot gets +2 thwart for that thwart. Let's do a little cleanup. We're going to exhaust Groot. We're also going to exhaust entangling vines. And so we're going to remove 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 comes off. And we do have Clea, flow like water, deft focus. Do I have any? I do have a superpower there, but it doesn't cost me anything to play. So I do think that deft focus is worthwhile to bring out onto the table. We'll do that. For 1, using sidestep. So here's how deft focus works. It says max 1 per player, exhaust deft focus, reduce the resource cost of the next superpower you card you play this turn by 1. So we don't have any superpowers more in our hand other than that fruition, which we may use that as a resource. Let me see how this, let's see. There's 2 resources for that. We are going to bring Starhawk back up into our hand. We're going to do 2 damage to Venom, which we're going to deflect over to the bell. So there's that. Yeah. So 2 damage to Starhawk, or 2 consequential damage to do 2 damage on the Venom, which we're essentially going to put 2 counters onto the bell tower. That brings Starhawk back up into our hand. When Starhawk takes damage exactly equal to his remaining hit points, return him to your hand. So yeah, Starhawk came back into my hand, and now he's going to come back out onto the table. Boom. Starhawk. And we're going to spend 2 resources to play him back onto the table. He's going to do 2 more damage to Venom. But no, instead of attacking Venom, we're going to send 2 more over to the bell tower. So now bell tower's thumped. And so Starhawk has taken his actions. And that flow like water card, we may just have to burn our fruition and Clea. Hate to do that. But that flow like water upgrade, it says after you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. Now, since we flipped over to the ringing side of the bell tower, it says increase all damage Venom takes by 1. This is where the paper cuts. will make a difference. So, yeah, we're going to have to do that, I think. So, we put that flow like water onto the table. We're going to use both of our resources here to do that because it's not a superpower, it's a condition. It is an upgrade, though. So that flow like water comes out onto the table. I can do nothing else. So we will ready Starhawk. Groot is ready. I love the fact that we burnt through both of our advances in our encounter deck. That is just so handy right now. The fact that I can rest without feeling like I'm going to just thread out. I mean, there may be other ways that I could do that, but that's usually how I lose this game, is that advance card, especially if you watched any of my videos in the past. So now Groot takes up a hand size of 5. So he says, I am Groot. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. That's nice. It's also a superpower. We have that def focus on the table. We have unflappable. I wish I had that out already, but it's not. That's an upgrade that we enjoy playing with. Another I am Groot. We have expert defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +3 defense for that attack. Here's where that flow like water, after you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy, that we can add 1 from the bell tower. Plus we can bump up our defense. Yeah, that's great. And it's not an attack. So our, let's see, when your hero would attack this guy, so yeah, he's not attacking. I get to draw 1 more card though. And we have another expert defense. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +3 defense for that attack. Is this a once? Let's see. Play under any player's control, max 1 per player. Response: after you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So can I stack 2 expert defenses? I'm going to try it. I certainly am. So we place 1 threat on Leave Us Alone. 1 threat, Leave Us Alone. Let me see if I have anything else over here that's going to... No. I don't have anything else here. So Venom is going to attack Groot. We're going to defend this attack. We're going to play 2 expert defenses. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +3 for that attack. I'm going to play both of these hero interrupts. So now he's up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 defense. That's how that works. Draw our card, and it is attached to, it's 1. So he does 3 damage. I deflected 10. And we're going to do the expert defense. Flow like water. After you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. Plus the bell tower, increase all damage Venom takes by 1. So we're going to do 1 damage and 1 damage, which will amount to 4 damage onto Venom. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we didn't have to get hurt. All right, so here's our encounter card. We're going to draw now. We're angry, attached to Venom. Venom's attacks gain overkill. After Venom takes any amount of damage from an attack, remove 1 rage counter from here. All right, so he, not happy. Not happy he just took that 4 damage. And it's my turn. So Unflappable will come out on the table. After you defend against an attack and take no damage, exhaust Unflappable and draw a card. Now that's coming out for I am Groot. I'm going to pay 1 for that condition. Starting to run out of room here. Let me see if I can put these out here where you can see them. All right, good. There we go. So I spent I am Groot to do that. You know, tell you what. Sounds crazy, I know. But how about if, instead of putting Unflappable on the table, I do like getting that card. I take no damage, exhaust Unflappable to draw a card. I could, with Starhawk, remove a threat to bounce Starhawk into my hand. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. I could wipe all of that off of there. And flip. It's a superpower. Let's leave Starhawk alone for now. Def Focus. If I play the I Am Groot, I could spend 1/2 resources. It is a superpower. I'm going to do it. I'm going to play the I Am Groot, reducing it by 1. It's a superpower. Remove threat from the scheme equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. I'm going to do that. I'm going to remove all of this threat. Yep. Sounds probably crazy. I know. That's all getting removed. Then we'll flip over to our alter ego side. And that will allow me to put a growth counter onto Groot. Gets him back up to 10. Plus I get a hand size of 6. So I get Anticipation, Lashing Vines, Defensive Stance, Spike Vines, Dauntless, and Electrostatic Armor. Now we're getting some upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 upgrades onto Groot. Yep. And now Venom is going to scheme for, he's going to put 1 there, scheme for 1, plus this. If this activation's attack, it gets +2 boo icons. And this attack gains overkill. It is not, so we only place 1 more threat on to leave us alone. Very good. And here comes our encounter card. And it is Caught Off Guard. When revealed, discard an upgrade or support you control. This card gains Surge. Oof. Which one of these do I want to get rid of? I don't like getting rid of any of these. Not getting rid of Flow Like Water. Not going to get rid of Armored Vest. Not going to get rid of Energy Barrier. I guess I am going to get rid of Energy Barrier. That's probably the least likely to remain anyway. So Energy Barrier is removed. So Caught Off Guard caught me off guard, and I lost my Energy Barrier. Oh well. That gives me a good turn, though. So Anticipation, when you engage a minion, discard this card, ready your hero. We have Lashing Vines. After Groot uses a basic power, remove 2 growth counters from him, exhaust Lashing Vines, and ready Groot. Yeah, we're going to do that. We're going to put Lashing Vines on the table, and we're going to spend our... Are we going to? Let me look at these other ones. Defensive Stance, that's probably going to be... Yeah, probably both of these will be that Dauntless. While your hero's remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your hero's starting hit points, your hero gains Retaliate. Yeah, that's coming out for sure. So we'll use Defensive Stance to put out Dauntless. Yep. Yep. Yep, we're going to do that. Dauntless comes out. We have our Def Focus, which allows us to exhaust Def Focus to reduce us. Superpower, Vine Spikes. Remove 1 growth counter from him, exhaust Vine Spikes. Groot gets +2 attack for the attack. Electrostatic Armor. After you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. That's coming out for sure. We're going to use Anticipation to put Electrostatic Armor onto the table. So that comes out. More damage. Lashing Vines. After Groot uses a basic power, remove 2 growth counters from him, exhaust Lashing Vines, and ready Groot. Or when Groot makes a basic attack, remove... Yeah, we'll put Lashing Vines on the table. Why not? We use our Def Focus for that. I'm going to flip Groot over. Flip over Groot. And spike vines, we'll hang on to that. After Groot uses a basic power, remove 2 growth counters from him, exhaust lashing vines, and ready Groot. So after we defend, we'll ready Groot with lashing vines potentially. All right, we'll just hang on to spike vines, or will we? Let me see what I got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cards left. So I think I'll discard spike vines. I know it sounds crazy, but I don't really intend on doing much regular ATK with Groot this turn because I just want to paper cut Venom to death. So we've got 1. Let's draw our 5 cards. Ends our turn. 5 cards. We got Sidestep and Nova. We've got Hard to Ignore. Ooh, that's another good one. We got Fertile Ground, and we have Energy Barrier. So we got our Energy Barrier back into our hand. We got Sidestep. It says when you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage. If you paid for this card using a energy resource, deal 1 damage to an enemy. And I do have some energy resources in my hand. So let's do this. We're going to do Leave Us Alone. So Groot is going to defend against this attack from Venom. Bonk. Just like that. What do I have over here on the table? We'll look at what we've got after the attack happens. So we're going to do that. Sidestep says, when you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage. And that's when we do the damage to our enemy. So here we go. Venom is going to attack. He's got that forced response. After Venom takes any amount of damage from attack, remove 1 rage counter from him. So he's got 2 plus 3 plus another one is 4. So Groot is at 4 defense right now. So he actually defends that attack. And he's still at full health. Let me see if this is a card I could play. Sidestep. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage. If you paid for this card using a energy resource, deal 1 damage to an enemy. We don't take damage. So let's take a look and see what does happen. So we have Dauntless, which says, while your hero's remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your hero's starting hit points, your hero gains Retaliate. So Groot's going to retaliate onto Venom. It's not an attack. So he does 2 damage because of the bell tower. Electrostatic Armor. When you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. Yes, sir. 1, 2. That takes us down to 9. And then here we've got this hero response. After Groot uses a basic power, remove 2 counters from him, exhaust Lashing Vines, and ready Groot. So we were going to do that. We're going to exhaust Lashing Vines. We're going to ready Groot, and we're going to remove 2 counters from him, which puts him to 8. All right, let's see what we got. Hard to Ignore. Yeah, that's a good one. Yep, I like that card too. So did we don't have to exhaust that? Deal 1 damage to the attacking character. Okay. So now we draw our encounter card for Venom, and he has a Biting Retort. When Venom activates against you, or Venom activates against you, each boost card turned face up during that activation gets +1 boost icon. He's going to attack me again. You didn't learn your lesson, buddy. All right, so we're going to exhaust Groot to, here we go. He draws a For Whom the Bell Tolls. Resolve this card's when revealed ability. And let's see, Venom activates against you. Each boost card turned face up during this activation gets +1 boost icon. So it does get +1 boost icon. So he's going to be at 2, 3, 4 damage. 4 damage. It doesn't do me. I've got 4 defense. When are you going to learn, man? So let's do the for whom the bell tolls. Remove 2 chime counters from the bell tower. If the bell tower is on its quiet side, take 1 damage. If it's on its ringing side, remove 1 threat from the main scheme. So 2 of these come off. All right. It's still ringing. And then I take 1 threat off the main scheme. Not sure that that helped you, Venom. Okay, so since I defended, I have that Electrostatic Armor. And I didn't take any damage, so I can't even play the Flow Like Water. Okay, so Electrostatic Armor is going to do 2 damage to Venom. Takes him down to 7. Then we have Dauntless. We're still at full strength. While your hero's remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your hero's starting hit points, your hero gains Retaliate. So 2 more. Now Venom's down to 5. Okay. Starhawk could do 3 damage to... Nope. He's going to remove threat, and he's going to come back into my hand. So he's going to remove 1 of these. Comes back into my hand. And then he may go back right back out into play. I haven't seen Zzzax yet, have I? What's going on with these modular sets? These Venom cards just take precedent all the time. Not that I'm overly discouraged or anything. It says, when an enemy initiates attack against you, spend 1 energy resource, deal 2 damage to that enemy. Well, I think Nova's coming out now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hard to ignore. That's also good to put out. Do I have anything that Def Focus can use? I don't have anything for Def Focus. Tell you what, let's just put Nova on the table. When an enemy initiates an attack against you, spend an energy resource, deal 2 damage to that enemy. Yep, we'll bring out Nova. We'll spend our energy barrier. And should I hang on the side step? It's going to cost me 4 to put Mr. Nova out there, so yeah, I'm going to have to circulate my deck again anyway. So yeah, we'll spend these 4 resources. We'll hang on to sidestep. Or should I hang on to Starhawk? Maybe Starhawk's the guy I'm going to hang on to. Yeah, we'll hang on to Starhawk. We'll put Nova out for 4. We're not going to do anything with Nova. He's just there for giggles because he does 2 damage, spending that energy resource. So that could potentially wipe out Venom. Yeah, so we're going to ready Groot, and we'll ready our Lashing Vines. Hang on to Starhawk. Draw some cards. I am Groot. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. Sidestep. Vine Shield. When Groot defends against an attack, remove 1 growth counter from him. Exhaust Vine Shield. Groot gets +3 defense for that attack. Oof. And Expert Defense. Oh man, and I didn't get any energy resources. I do have to deal myself an encounter card because we decked ourselves out. There you go. Shuffling my deck. That's why it's taking so long. Getting it nice and shuffled. And these will be my 5 cards going into my next turn. So, placing 1 threat on to leave us alone. Venom's going to attack Groot. Groot's going to defend. Like so. And we have the Expert Defense card. When your hero defends against an attack, it gets +3 for that attack. So he's going to draw a 3 or 2 +1. It says if this activation is an attack, it gains piercing. So he's going to gain piercing onto me. So he's going to attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 damage. We got our Expert Defense that we played, so I'm up to 7. So we will block all the damage. And Flow Like Water. After you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. So that will do 1, 2 to Venom, because we played that Expert card. We also have that Electrostatic Armor. We're going to deal 2 damage to Venom. 1, 2. And then we've got Dauntless, which says that I have Retaliate when my remaining hit points are equal to or greater than my starting hit points. So stage 1 of Venom has been paper cutted off the table. Stage 2 pops out. It says search the encounter deck and discard pile for the Tooth and Nail side scheme, put it into play, and shuffle. So let's look for that Tooth and Nail. Well, Tooth and Nail is actually on top of my... You just drew that for our card, so that comes into play. With 8 thread on it. That probably was a bad time for that to come out, because it's got that hazard on it. And we've already got one encounter card that we're going to have to deal with in addition to our normal one. So this Venom comes out with tough on him. He's tough now. And he also comes into play with 18 hit points. Lashing Vines. Since we did just use a basic power, we're going to remove 2 counters to exhaust Lashing Vines and ready Groot. So these come off. Groot is readied. This is my hand still. I've got Sidestep. Not going to do me any good on the Sidestep. So the normal card that we would deal ourselves, the additional encounter card that we would deal ourselves, and this encounter card that we got for decking ourselves is what we're going to have to contend with now. So our first one is Now We're Angry. Attach the Venom, 2 rage counters. Didn't even put the rage counters on the other one before. 2 rage counters on there, 2 on here. We haven't attacked Venom yet, and so we haven't removed any rage counters, but now he's got 2 of these Now We're Angries. And I have Sidestep, Vine Shield, blah, blah. Next is Zzzax. Zzzax gets plus X attack plus X hit points, where X is equal to the total number of energy resources on cards in the engaged player controls. So I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he's up to 9. Zzzax gets plus X attack and plus X hit points. Oh boy. He's a big bruiser there. That could be dangerous. Lightning is in the air. And so Zap says, take indirect damage equal to the total number of energy resources in your hand. If your identity was dealt 1 or fewer damage this way, this card gains surge. Well, now we don't have any in our hand. So this card's going to gain surge. Next card is Alter Ego, or no, the Assault. When revealed, hero, the villain, attacks you. You're attacking me, man. And do I have anything to do? I can't do the Sidestep. Yeah, I can. Actually, it says defense. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage. If you paid for this card using an energy resource, deal 1 damage to the enemy. So yes, we can use that card. What was I thinking? Okay. We're going to for sure defend this one. Venom is 1, 2, 1, 2, and 2 is 4, plus 5, 6 damage. So we have the armored vest, which puts us up to 4. If I spend the 1 resource to play the sidestep defense card, when you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage. I don't have an energy resource to deal the 1 damage to an enemy, but we are going to spend, let's see, Vine Shield. Plus 3 for that attack. I think we're going to need that Vine Shield. So I am Groot. I hate to lose that one as well. We're going to use it though. The sidestep is going to use Starhawk to prevent the damage to Groot, because it does, plus prevent 3 of that damage. So the Flow Like Water triggers, so that does 2 damage to Venom. Knock off the tough card. We also have Dauntless in play, so that will knock off 2 more. Electrostatic Armor is also going to deal 1 damage to the attacking character. That becomes 2. So now we're down to 14 on Venom. Keep forgetting I got webbed up, so that's going to make it real difficult to play I Am Groot. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. Well, that was a turn. Zzzax has a lot of punch on him right now. Okay. Get my bearings here. So Venom's turn is over. He got a lot of air static. Yeah. Venom's turn's over. Just catching my bearings. I've got the Vine Shield. It can come out into play for free because of Def Focus. When Groot defends against an attack, remove 1 growth counter from him and exhaust Vine Shield. Groot gets plus 3 defense for that attack. Vine Shield on the table. Using Def Focus. And let's see. Tough as Nails says, after Venom takes any amount of damage from an attack, remove an equal amount of threat from here. So I dealt myself an additional encounter card, but I did not attack Venom. So that stays on the table. There's a lot going on here. All right. So I will flip. I could flip and buy myself some time and get some more counters back. How about I do that? Man, that's dangerous, because if he draws and does 5 and he schemes for that much as well, I think we're just going to have to worry about the defense. Yeah, we'll just worry about that. So here we go. We got I Am Groot. We're going to hang on I Am Groot. Deal damage to an enemy equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. I won't be able to use that necessarily on my next turn because this is an attack. And I'm still webbed up. When your hero would attack, this card webbed up. So I'm going to discard that and draw 5 other cards. So we'll draw I Am Groot and Defensive Stance, Clea, Hard to Ignore, and Lockjaw. Okay. So we place 1 threat on Leave Us Alone. Brings it up to 3. Venom is going to attack Groot. Do I have any defensive cards in my hand? I do not have any defensive events. So Groot is going to defend. Do I have any? When an enemy initiates attack against you, spend a energy resource, deal 2 damage to that enemy. I do have an energy resource. So when an enemy initiates attack against you, spend a energy resource, deal 2 damage to that enemy. So Venom's going to get dealt 3 damage to him, and it is also not an attack. So Nova uses his ability. 1, 2, 3 damage onto Venom. Do I have any more energy? I don't have any more energy in my hand. So now Venom is attacking Groot. Groot is defending. So Venom has 2, 3, 4 damage on that he's going to do to me, and an additional put Enraged Symbiote into play, engaged with you. Eek. All right, so he does 1, 2, 3, 4 damage. Groot blocks all the damage. So Electrostatic Armor will do 2, 1, 2 to Venom. Dauntless will do 2 damage to Venom. 1, 2, because it has Retaliate. The Enraged Symbiote is going to attack Groot. Or Zzzax. Where's Zzzax sitting right now? He's at 2, 3, 4. Let's count them up. We've got all kinds of stuff on the table here. 1, 2. Sorry, I'm thinking 3. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Is that all I got? I thought I had 5. 1. Nope. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do have 5. So he's going to be at 7. So Zzzax, if he does 7 damage to Groot, will knock off all of his counters. And I don't think I want that to happen. Although, I should have readied those lashing vines. And when Venom attacked, I could have spent 2. And what did I do on that one? The Vine Shield? I do have the Vine Shield too. When Groot defends against an attack, remove 1 growth counter from him and exhaust Vine Shield. Groot gets +3 defense for that attack. I did not ready the this one here. After Groot uses a basic power, remove 2 counters from him and exhaust Lashing Vines to ready Groot. So I could do that to ready Groot. It's going to cost me 2, but I think I'll do that. And then, when Zzzax attacks, I can exhaust Vine Shield to get +3 defense. And he's going to defend that too. So that'll defend me for 7 defense. And he has 1, 2. I had to pay for 1 to do that. So 1, 2 plus 5 is 7. So he's attacking me for 7, and that is you're not gonna do any damage to me at all. So Dauntless and Electrostatic Armor still trigger, so that does 4 damage. Sorry, this turn got a little bit complicated. So 4 damage to Zzzax. And then the Enraged Symbiote's going to attack for 2. And so that's going to knock 2 more counters off of Groot. But it's also going to cause us to attack back at the Enraged Symbiote. So he's busted. And then we deal ourselves 2 encounter cards. Make sure I did everything right here. So yeah, there was a lot of... So here we go. Our first encounter card that we deal ourselves is Zap. take indirect damage equal to the total number of energy resources in your hand. If your identity was dealt one or fewer damage this way, this card gains Surge. So again, I don't have any energy resources in my hand, so this card's going to gain Surge. So this surges into this one. This one says, guard the bell tower. Treat the bell tower's printed text box as if it were blank. When revealed, remove each chime counter from the bell tower and flip it to its quiet side. We lose our +1 for that. Not good. Not good. I don't like that. And it comes into play with 3 threat on it. Guard the bell tower. Treat the bell tower's printed text box as if it were blank, except for traits. Remove each chime counter from the bell tower, flip to its quiet side. So it's flipped over to its quiet side. It's 3 threat onto the guard the bell tower. And then we deal ourselves attached to your identity. Treat the printed resource of each card in your hand as if it were energy. Choose to either discard a card you control with a printed resource or take 2 indirect damage, discard this card. Okay. We have another attachment onto Groot. Treat the printed resource of each card in your hand as if it was energy. So these are all energy resources. I am Groot. Remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. Don't have any left. I think I should have had 1. That symbiote knocked 2 off. I may have only had 2 left. I don't have any that I'm showing, so maybe we'll just leave that alone for now. So Nova, when an enemy initiates attack against you, spend energy resource, deal 2 damage to that enemy. The bell tower is useless right now. I've got Lockjaw in my hand, which I can't put on the table. I do have remove threat from a scheme equal to the number of growth counters on Groot. But I have no growth counters on Groot. Oh, I was trying to get cute in this game, and I think it messed me up. Lockjaw I can't play. Clea can come out on the table. When she is defeated, shuffle her into her owner's deck. How about we do this? We're going to put Lockjaw over here. We will put Clea on the table. Spin Lockjaw. And yeah. Huh. Clea's on the table. We're going to spin Hard to Ignore. All right. I'm Groot still in my hand. Sorry, thinking this one through. Nova and Clea can attack Venom. We'll do that. Nova's going to attack for 2 on Venom. That's going to remove a counter from each of these. It puts damage onto Nova. Clea is going to attack Venom for another. That puts him down to 4. That takes off another. Now we're angry. After Venom takes any amount of damage from an attack, remove 1 rage counter from here. So those were 2 attacks onto Venom. Another consequential onto Clea. And I am Groot. Removes threat. Is there anything else that Groot can do? When Groot defends against an attack, remove 1 growth counter from him and exhaust Vine Shield. Groot gets +3 defense for that attack. There is 3 threat on Leave Us Alone. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to put it up to 7. If I draw a 3, we will threat out if I flip over to my alter ego form. And there's a good chance something bad could happen with that additional encounter card. So I think what I'm going to do, don't I have a card on the table that says it makes everything? Yeah, I do. I've got this card here. It says choose to either discard a card you control with a printed energy resource or take 2 indirect damage and discard this card. I'm just going to ready Groot. We're going to discard this card. Groot has no more Vine. He has no more counters on him. Def Focus. We have Vine Shield. Do I have that Nova? Oof. If I can dodge damage from Venom, this could be a good turn. We're going to draw up our 5 cards. We've got Energy Barrier, which is an energy card. Anticipation, Energy Barrier, Unflappable. I need a defensive event. I don't have one. I really needed a defensive event for Flow Like Water, and I didn't get it. After you play a defense card, deal 1 damage to the attacking enemy. This could be bad. Oh, we had to deal 2 encounter cards too to Groot because we did 2 damage. After you attack and deal damage, place 1 face down boost card on your identity. So he's going to take a lot of boost this turn as well. So Venom is going to attack Groot. When an enemy initiates attack against you, spend a energy resource, deal 2 damage to that enemy. We will spend an energy resource. Everything in my hand is energy, right? Choose to either discard a card you control with a printed resource or take 1 indirect damage. Treat the printed resource of each card in your hand as if it were an energy resource. So I don't have to get rid of the energy barrier. I could get rid of Unflappable. Okay. So we'll use that as an energy card. So Nova does 2 damage to Venom. 1, 2. So now he's down to 2. Groot is going to defend. Right? And so now Venom draws. He's got 1 plus these 2 here. Do I want to defend with Groot? Yeah, I do. I don't have any growth counters, though. I maybe should have had a growth counter, but I didn't. So, deal ourselves a boost card. Let's see what we got on these boosts. So the first one is an Enraged Symbiote. The next one is remove 1 chime counter from the bell tower. So there's that one. And then the Swinging Assault. There's no chime counters on the bell tower. So Venom does 2 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. Because we're still wearing our armored vest, Groot has 4 defense. Advantage, Electrostatic Armor. After you defend against an attack, deal 1 damage to the attacking character. So that's 1 from Electrostatic Armor. And Dauntless says, while your hero's remaining hit points are equal to or greater than your hero's starting hit points, your hero gains Retaliate of 1. Did I do anything wrong in this game? Please let me know in the comments down below. But it looks like we were able to defeat Venom without Groot ever having to do any basic attack against him. In fact, he didn't even do an attack against him, period. He kept that webbed up card on him the whole game, so there was webs all over that tree. Despite that, we were able to take down Venom using the buddy system here. We had Nova, Clea, Venom's defeated. Boom. There goes his dial. And I'm going to say we win unless somebody proves me otherwise, which is very likely that with all these goodies on the table here today, that there's a good chance that I probably did something silly and cheated. But that's what villains do. I'm a villain in training. So that's what villains do. They cheat. All right. So thank you for watching today. I had a lot of fun playing against Venom. Sorry this took that long, but when you're playing with a tree and he's doing paper cuts, that game is going to last a while. So again, thanks for watching today. I'm the Board Game Lawyer. If you want to get in touch with me, it's boardgamelawyer@gmail.com. Thanks for watching my video today, and I hope to be able to bring you another one again this weekend. Take care, friends.